Hi there, welcome to Scarborough, and today we're visiting the North Bay of Scarborough, which is like a totally different resort. So come with me and let's have a look at how special the North Bay is. Scarborough is on the east coast of the UK in North Yorkshire. One of the things with the North Bay is the fact that the actual promenade is right next to the sea itself. I mean, as you can see, there is a raised section after that to break the waves on. But what that does mean is occasionally you'll find that the promenade wears out. The thing with North Bay, it's a much more relaxed venue than South Bay. It is one prime location for surfers as well. Even on a fairly calm day like today, you've got some nice waves coming there, and if you're learning to surf, those would be ideal to start off with. Yes, the beach in South Bay is far better, but it does have a beach. I mean, yes, the water's in at the moment, so it's not really giving you a good impression, but apart from in the winter when dogs are allowed on the beach, it's a great place for the kids to go. And if you look over there, you'll see the castle, the headland which divides North Bay from South Bay. And yes, you can walk from North Bay to South Bay, and a lot of the car parking that you use is on the promenade along there, but it is over a mile's walk, so just bear that in mind. As I said, they are two separate resorts in one resort. So far we've walked from the Sea Life Centre and we're now starting to get into what I would class as the North Bay area. And the first thing you see as you walk past the cafe there are these very, very brightly coloured beach huts. And I mean, if you've seen the video on Folkestone that we did, these are a lot brighter. And they're more controlled, I would say. They actually have at the end of here a unit where the people who run these beach huts make sure everything's maintained, painted and kept clean. As you can see, even in the winter, they're handy to have. Although most of them look the same, if you look carefully, some are a lot bigger than others. And when we come a bit further up, there's one or two more unusual beach huts to look at. And as you can see there's a few that are set back a little bit. Again, a slightly different design. Smaller fronts with the glass panels. Compared to these, which look more like garages, if you like, with the fold-out doors. Here's a little chance to peek inside one of these beach huts. And another thing that's very unusual about these, because I don't see this anywhere else, although there might be, is yes, you've got your cupboards and whatnot. You've also got an electrical supply to them, so you can have a microwave, you can cook. They are a little home from home when you're at the beach, and that is very unusual for a beach hut. But look what we've got here. That's right. Now that's a beach hut on steroids. Yeah, you can have your own beach hut on 2 floors. It'll certainly give you a better view than the others. And I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Well, we're not actually done with the unusual beach huts, because although we're coming up to the end of the beach huts almost, look here. We've got beach huts on different levels. Beach huts way back at the top there, if you can just about see them. And again, I don't see anywhere else. Very unusual. So you've walked at least half a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile up to this point. You've passed all the beach huts. So what do you come across? And I don't know if they're hotels or apartments. I think these are apartments right on the seafront. I'm sure some of these will be for hire or rent during the peak seasons. Why wouldn't you be? But once you come up here, you can see there's a little bit more of the beach. Still, South Beach is a lot better. But if you're after somewhere a little bit quieter, this is the place you want to be. Well, I can imagine they built this wall just to protect the building at the side of it a little bit more from the storms and whatnot. But it does tend to collect all the mud, all the dirt and whatnot. So when you're walking along that runner there that's going through it, we were dodging the slimy bits, the not so nice bits, little puddles, etc. Not great, but I'm sure there's a logical reason for that. And here are the small shops for the tourists. Yes, the surfboards there that you can rent, which there's quite a few there. Somewhere to eat. Ice creams aren't too bad to be right on the seafront. And then somewhere to eat. Again, a restaurant, somewhere to sit down and have a proper meal. And then your little sort of corner shop type places. I went in this mini supermarket and the prices are normal prices. They're not the type of thing that you'd expect at a seaside hyped up. But whether or not that's the same in the middle of the summer, I don't know. Now for one of the major things with the North Bay, and that's Peasholm Park. This was originally a Victorian park, left for a while and became a bit derelict, but then they rejuvenated it, and boy did they rejuvenate it. It's got one or two little surprises. It's a nice relaxing park, and as we walk around it I'll point out one or two things to you. As we walk around, you'll notice a Chinese theme to it, which was how the park was originally built. As I say, it was rebuilt and they decided to go for as near as they could to the original park's design. And I think it works really well. And it's got plenty of wildlife. Can you see what I can see? Yes, that's right, a grey squirrel. Now from the UK you'll know that the red squirrels are the natural ones for the UK, but the greys were brought over from America and literally hounded them to very, very rare locations. But the squirrels here, although not exactly tame, you can't feed them. They won't allow you to get very close. Some of the time. There are a number of little waterfalls all over the park. The birds seem to love these little waterfalls. But there's pathways everywhere, so you can just take a stroll at the pace that you want to. But I'm not going to spend the whole video showing you all of the little walkways and waterfalls, because there's so much more to Peasholm Park. Some of which you'll only see in the summer, and some of it, well, it's there all year round. So let's dart through and then we can have a proper look at it. And yes, it looks as though we've found another squirrel who's happy to pose for us. Squirrels normally run away as soon as you get close to them. But this one, I think it's quite happy for the attention. Or maybe not. We're now leaving the pathways and the waterfalls for the main part of Peasholm Park. And this has one or two things that occur here that make it more than a little worth a visit during the summer months. Right now it's just a calm lake, but during the summer months this becomes very, very active. And obviously a good amount of birds who are used to the tourists leaving them with the odd bit of food. You obviously expect to see the seagulls and the pigeons, but there's one or two others there that aren't necessarily what you normally see on a day-to-day basis, at the seaside anyway. Now you may notice all these chairs round this big lake. They're there for a reason. In actual fact, there are a few stone seats as well a bit further back, as well as a nice little cafe there. And that's because of the lake itself. During the summer months, obviously you can boat on this lake, but there's more happening than just that. Because one of the things that is spectacular about this place is the fact that they have, well, basically, war. They have mini little boats that reenact sea battles. Certainly unique. Peasholm Cafe. If you're going to be here in the summer, you're going to visit this place. And that is why the view is fantastic. And in the middle is an island that you can just probably make out that there's a waterfall on it and a big pagoda. You can actually visit that during the summer months, but not during the winter. They obviously make sure it's right for the summer months. There are firework displays that go off from here. There are live performances, and there's the stone seats, because it gets really packed. If you can go to see one of these battles, it is outstandingly interesting. And the reason why I say that, if you've ever seen a film of how they teach people to drive oil tankers, you'll see them in little boats where the heads are just above the water and the boat is no longer than a canoe. Well, that's the sort of boats that they use for this, but with explosives going off and all sorts of fun and games. Really, really unique and really, really fun to watch. The kids will love it, and I know us adults do. And here's the entrance to the actual island. As I say, shut off during the winter months, but if you can get in during the summer, it is a fantastic view from there. You'll also get occasionally bands doing shows from the island, which are free for anybody to watch.
So that's our little trip round Peasholm Park, but there's plenty more in Scarborough North Bay to see. So come with us while we look at the rest of it.
The rest of it is literally just over this area here, just over the other side of the road. And yes, you can go from here to the golf club, Sea Life Centre, you can drive this way, but for the stuff that we're going to look at now, we literally just have to cross the road. That's how close it is together.
So next place we're going to go to is Scarborough's open air theatre, and this sees some big stars. Obviously, we're in the middle of February, so there's not going to be many people there now, but you can actually walk around it and have a look at it. So let's go and have a look.
After a lot of investment over the last few years, you've now got 8,000 seats there. Not a small venue by any means, and the stars that come here aren't small.
So here at the open air theatre, which, let's face it, there's not many theatres that are nowadays, you're going to see this year Status Quo, Simple Minds, Deacon Blue, Tom Jones, Rick Astley, Fatboy Slim, JLS, Madness, Busted. There's loads of people who come here.
And the other benefit is the ticket prices tend to be a lot less than elsewhere. The open air theatre opened in 1932 along with this, one of the oldest water shoot rides in the country. And as you can see, obviously, with it being winter months, they've drained it to do maintenance and whatnot. But that's something you really ought to go to if you're coming to North Bay, during the summer months anyway.
The next thing we're going to go on is the railway. One of the things that, if you're coming to the North Bay, well worth 10 minutes of your time. What do you think, Layla?
Fun. It's going to be really fun.
Now obviously I'm not going to spoil this for you. I'm just going to show you a couple of clips from our trip on the railway because it's fun, simple as that. And I don't want you to have seen everything when you go for your little trip. The trains that they use themselves are from the early 1930s and have been running ever since then. So now we're coming back to the station, passing the water chute, driving straight underneath it. And it has been a fun ride. Yes, it goes right up to the end of the promenade where the Sea Life Centre is, turns around and comes back. So it's not a massive ride, but it's fun. Well worth a trip.
Fantastic little drive.
So what I'm doing now is just doing a very quickly speeded up trip from the South Bay to the North Bay to give you an idea of how far apart they actually are. And as you'll see as you're driving along, there are loads and loads of car parking spaces, and I've cut a lot out. As we're coming up to the end here, you'll see the shops that we visited before we went to Peasholm Park. So I hope you've enjoyed our little visit to the North Bay, and you might want to have a look at this video about South Bay at Scarborough, which was taken late summer this past year. And you never know, we might be back here later on this summer, show you what a difference it is. Bye for now.